Kevin's story began not with riches, but with love. He was adopted by Linda, a kind-hearted woman who raised him as her own. Linda was a woman full of warmth and compassion, someone who had always longed to have a child to love and care for. When she found Kevin, she knew instantly that he was meant to be her son. As a child, Kevin faced challenges that many children might not have to think about. He endured bullying from his classmates who often questioned him about his biological parents. Every day, they asked him uncomfortable questions. Where did you come from? Who are your real parents? Why are you different from the rest of us? These questions caused Kevin much distress, and he found it hard to answer. He wasn't sure how to respond because he had no real answers. But Linda, Kevin's mother, always had the perfect response. She would smile and say, "We pleaded and begged for your parents to have you, Kevin. You were never abandoned. You were meant to be with us." Her words, though simple, brought comfort to Kevin, and he held on to them tightly. They reminded him that he was wanted and loved, that there was no such thing as being unwanted or abandoned in her eyes. Though Linda never knew the truth about Kevin's biological parents, she loved him with all her heart. She never made him feel different or out of place. Instead, she worked hard to provide for him and raise him to be strong, intelligent, and kind. As Kevin grew older, his ambitions grew too. He always had a natural curiosity and an inquisitive mind. He was particularly drawn to technology and the way it was changing the world. After completing his higher studies, Kevin set out to create his own tech company. It wasn't an easy journey. Like many entrepreneurs, he faced challenges, financial struggles, rejection, and skepticism. But Kevin never gave up. He poured his heart into his work, believing in the potential of his ideas. And his hard work paid off. By his early 20s, Kevin was already a millionaire. His tech company took off, and before he turned 25, he had become a billionaire. His story was everywhere. His success was the talk of the town. Every day there was a new article, a new TV segment, all about him. But despite the wealth and fame, there was still something missing in Kevin's life. One question haunted him day and night. Who were his biological parents? With his newfound wealth and the connections that came with it, Kevin used his resources to search for answers. He was determined to find the truth about where he came from. Years went by, and after a long search, he finally tracked down the doctor who was on duty when his mother had given birth. The doctor, now retired, was the key to unlocking Kevin's past. Kevin met the doctor, hoping for answers, but the doctor's response was less than promising. He explained that he no longer had the records, that the information had been lost to time. Feeling defeated but not ready to give up, Kevin continued his search. Time passed, and one day he received an unexpected visit from an elderly woman who introduced herself as the doctor's wife. She explained that the doctor had passed away some weeks earlier. But before she left, she handed Kevin a letter that would change everything. Inside the letter, Kevin found the answers he had been searching for his entire life. His heart raced as he read through the words. The letter revealed the truth about his biological family, the truth that had been hidden for so long. And with that revelation, Kevin's journey took a new direction. With the letter in hand, Kevin boarded his private jet and flew to Texas. His destination was a small town where he would meet a woman who would change his life forever. At a modest hotel, Kevin encountered Barbara, a janitor who was shocked to see him standing before her, the world-famous billionaire, here in her humble workplace. Kevin showed her the letter from the doctor, and Barbara's expression shifted from surprise to something more personal. She knew the truth that Kevin had been searching for. Through tears, Barbara revealed a long-held secret. Kevin had a sister. That revelation was a turning point, not only for Kevin but for Barbara as well. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, but Kevin was still left with so many questions. Barbara quickly called her daughter Susan, who was studying nursing in Philadelphia. When Barbara explained that her son was with her and they were coming to Philadelphia to meet Susan, Susan was left confused and unsure. How could this be true? How could she not know her own brother? Barbara only mentioned that she didn't need to introduce him to Susan, as Susan had already heard about him. Susan, puzzled, wondered if this was some sort of joke or prank. Was it really her brother? When Susan first heard the news, she didn't know what to think. Could it really be true? How could she know his brother? Was he a lecturer at the nursing college, a staff member? And if so, why hadn't she recognized him? More puzzling still was the speed with which they arrived in Philadelphia. Less than 5 hours after the phone call, Kevin and Barbara arrived at Susan's doorstep. When Susan saw her brother for the first time, she was speechless. She couldn't find the words to express what she was feeling. For the first time, the family was whole. Kevin, Barbara, and Susan spent the night together, sharing stories, memories, and laughter. They talked about everything: the years apart, the struggles, the secrets. It was their first real family reunion, one that neither of them had ever imagined would happen. During their time together, Susan suggested that Kevin meet their father, Joseph, but Kevin immediately rejected the idea. He didn't want to meet the man who had abandoned him, his mother, and his sister. The wounds of the past were still fresh, and Kevin wasn't ready to confront the man who had turned his back on them. It was enough for Kevin that he had found Barbara and Susan, his real family. That was all that mattered now. But Susan, despite her brother's wishes, felt the need to meet her father. She visited him at the hotel where he worked as a doorman. Joseph spoke proudly of his life, mentioning the wealthy clients he served, even going so far as to mention how often Kevin stayed at the hotel. But Susan kept silent, remembering her promise to Kevin. She didn't reveal his true identity to her father. Not yet. The weight of that secret was heavy on her heart. Kevin's journey was never just about wealth or success. It wasn't even just about finding his biological parents. His journey was about something deeper. It was about finding the truth, about family, love, and the unanswered questions that had driven him for years. Through it all, Kevin learned that life isn't just about where we come from, but about the family we choose and the legacy we build along the way. Kevin's story is a reminder to us all that no matter where we begin, no matter the obstacles we face, we have the power to shape our own future. It teaches us that family isn't defined by blood alone. It's the connections we make, the love we give, and the people who stand by us when we need them most. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.